G'day guys, so in this video we're going to look at a boat of war. So I'd actually designed this boat back before Primitive Plus was released, because I was under the mistaken impression that cannons were going to be in Primitive Plus. So this was my cannon carrier, housing a single cannon at the front. And also, only recently they've patched this method of armouring up plants. You used to be able to plant a crop plot underneath a sloped ceiling and it would still receive the rain. It would grow up through the ceiling and allow it to shoot out the side, while remaining protected from theft and attacks, which is really easy to do with another boat. Anyway, one of the recent patches made it so rain doesn't penetrate sloped ceilings anymore. And while you could probably make an irrigated dock to keep this boat going, I'm going to retire it, as that's too much of a pain, and it's also not a good idea to have a cannon protected by plants, since they're only on the modern servers anyway. And you're going to need anti-rocket defense. Anyway, so what I'm going to do in this video is see what we can do in metal, starting by lowering the standard 3x3 foundation over the raft. Get a pillar out, grab the rudder, centre it over the mast and place it down. So this does seem to be the most efficient way to do it. Place a pillar half a square back, demolish the first pillar, another pillar half a square forward, demolish the back pillar, foundation next to it. It can be thatch, this is going to be deleted anyway. Demolish the pillar, pillar within the foundation, demolish the foundation, and a foundation over the mast. And that's the foundation we'll be building off. Place a pillar in the centre square to lower a foundation over the rudder. To find a secondary snap point, if it doesn't want to sit there, press the map button, which is also the cycle snap point button, and then immediately set it down. Now to extend it, 2 thatch ceilings along the back, making sure the one next to the rudder is at the higher snap point. And 3 more thatch ceilings behind that. You can use a thatch foundation under the first ceiling, that's just a placeholder. And fill the rest in by snapping metal foundation underneath them. Followed by demolishing all of the thatch. Okay, so now extend a single foundation from the centre of the front and back. Thatch ceiling first, then foundation underneath. Okay, so this is the shape you should have ended up with. But keep in mind the alternate configuration above, with the even extension out each side. We'll have a look at that later. It's much the same, it's built exactly the same, except it pushes the rudder 1 square backwards. Use that configuration if you don't want the side doors and you want to save more pieces. And now's a good time to slap the ramps down in those cutouts in the foundation. The cutout's only there to save a couple pieces. Okay, I'll start building the cannon carriage at the front. So a door frame right at the front, and 1 square back, a door frame on each side, making sure they're placed on that inner snap point along that centerline foundation. Fill in the gaps on each side with solid walls. And place some sloped walls on the side, forming a peak. Okay, so now we're going to fill in the sides. So sloped walls up from each end and around the doorway. Now covering both sides with the sloped ceilings. Which you'll probably find easier to do from in the water. Okay, 2 more walls back along the inside, snapped to that centerline foundation. And terminated in a door frame. Add a sloped ceiling down from the back. Okay, I did get ahead of myself here. Don't put this window frame in or ramp in yet. It'll cause an obstruction later. But note that there is 2 snap points for that ramp. There's a high one and a low one. Make sure it's on the low one or you'll stub your toe every time you run up the ramp. Okay, so now wall in the foundation sticking out the back of the raft. 3 walls around and 2 off the back. With sloped walls going up to meet it. And a sloped ceiling on top of those. Okay, so now you'll need 3 flat ceilings to fill in the roof. Okay, so now you can put the side door frames in and doors. Okay, at this point we've finished the shell of the boat. And it's time to mount the defences. Now there's plenty of ways of doing this. You can just slap auto turrets on the sloped ceilings, but it has a lot of blind spots, particularly underneath. You can snap a fence foundation into it, which gives a little bit better cover, but still not great. You can place a fence foundation down a sloped ceiling and get a sloped pillar in. Place your turret on top of that, but again, the coverage beneath the boat is really quite small, even if coverage above the boat is quite good. And it uses a lot of pieces as well. You can do the standard catwalk with a auto turret on top. Gives decent coverage above and below the boat, but we can do better. Okay, so what we are going to do is start with wood catwalks, 3 on each side, evenly spaced. Two squares away from each other. And then run some metal fence foundations along the centre line of it. It will always vibrate between 2 snap points, but as long as you have going in a straight line, you should be right. Place the foundation down as shown, and then demolish the catwalk. Now the turret will hang off the side, giving good coverage beneath the boat. Do the same in the centre, but this time you can extend it another one outwards. Demolish the catwalk and they'll both remain. Place the turret right out on the end to give really good coverage beneath the boat. You can only afford to use a double extension on the centre one, as this ring of turrets is the maximum radius you can use from a central outlet. If you extend the front and back turrets, it won't reach, and it'll use too many parts anyway. Anyway, that's one side down. Do the other side exactly the same. And we've now got the main armament placed. And now finally we've got to furnish it. So start with a generator right at the back. Try to keep it as centered as possible. You can add 2 smithies off the sides. This is a boat of war, so we only really need our main storage. And the smithy is the best way of doing that while keeping it 1 story high. You always need a bed. Now for some reason I've had to delete the ceiling above the bed sometimes just to get it down. I don't know why. But if you can't get that bed down, demolish the ceiling above it. Now 2 straight electrical cables out from the generator with an outlet on the end. And that should feed all the auto turrets. Now go up the crouch way around the side. This is where the cannon carriage is. And place your cannon down, making sure it's as straight as possible because that'll help in aiming. Okay, now we run into the problem that I pointed out earlier, the obstruction of the ammo boxes. So you're going to have to demolish the window frame and the ramp if you've done that already. So you can place 2 small storage boxes down, which will act as the ammo boxes for the cannon. So place them in that position and then replace the window frame. And relay the ramp. And you can put a window in. So your cannonball storage is complete. So you got your sheltered compartment at the front for the loader and firer. And quick access through the front door to the lookout and spotting position. And now this boat's maxed out, you can't fit any more pieces on it. And thus is complete. Now a fast barrel rolling pteranodon can definitely break through the cover of auto turrets. And if they want to suicide bomb themselves into the side of the boat, they can try that. But we've tried to make it as difficult as possible by keeping a low profile and sloped sides to deflect any attack. Now the doors are still a weak point, so if you want to do away with that, remember that foundation layout that I showed earlier. And that's the layout I tend to use now, as not only does it remove them weak side doors that can catch a pteranodon, it allows for more pieces. So in this case I've added a minigun and an extra auto turret on top, as well as side doors around the cannon. Painting it all black goes some way to hiding that top doorway, which may be missed on a quick pass over. Inside it's the same as the other boat, except it's a full slope ceiling. And the extra pieces available have allowed side doors into the cannon carriage. Anyway, the design allows the person taking the spotting position to quickly retreat back into cover. Down the ramp into the doorway. And a sheltered sniping position. This is where I should snap to real life pig shooting to trigger the easily triggered, but I won't. So it's a nice concealed shooting position. Now these guys made the mistake of putting up signs saying we were protecting them, which wasn't true at all, so that has consequences. Now the adjustments on cannon aim is very crude, so that one's landed just in front, but if we were to move it one upwards, it'd be hitting the dyno doors right on the far side. So most of the aiming's done with the boat. And that's why we only bother with one cannon, as it's hard enough to aim one of them where you want. So I've moved forward to bring that fire up onto the base. So there's a loader and fire up front, and I'll manoeuvre the boat and spot for it. Ideally this would be a 3-person operation. It only takes 3 cannonballs to break through a stone wall. Metal is considerably harder, it's like 28 or 30 or something. But nothing outranges a cannonball, and nothing can stop it. Anyway, we really didn't mean to kill their dilo, it just happened to be on the other side of the wall, which was killed as the cannonball passed through. Anyway, that's what the boat looks like, with full slope sides and a couple of plants on top. Anyway, that's it guys. Boats are always expendable, don't overspend on them. If you can destroy a base porcupined with bloody auto turrets, you can destroy any boat. So don't try to invest too much emotional baggage into them.